On our wedding day, my husband chose my sister. The church was filled with white roses. Soft music echoed through the hall as hundreds of guests turned toward the entrance. Lena Morgan stood behind the doors, her hands trembling. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. After 8 years together, she was finally marrying Ryan Carter, her childhood sweetheart, the man she had loved since she was 17, the man she thought she would spend the rest of her life with. "Ready?" her father asked. Lena smiled through her tears. "Ready." The doors opened. Everyone stood. Lena walked slowly down the aisle, her white dress sparkling beneath the lights. At the end of the aisle stood Ryan. Tall, handsome, perfect. He smiled at her. And for a moment, Lena believed everything was exactly as it should be. The guests applauded softly. Her mother wiped away tears. Even her younger sister Sophia looked emotional. Everything felt like a dream. Finally, Lena reached the altar. Ryan took her hands. They looked into each other's eyes. The priest smiled. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." Bang! The church doors suddenly flew open. Everyone jumped. A young woman stumbled inside, crying. "Sophia?" Lena's smile disappeared. Her younger sister rushed down the aisle, tears streaming down her face. "I can't do this anymore!" The entire church fell silent. "What are you talking about?" Lena asked. Sophia stopped in front of the altar, then placed a trembling hand on her stomach. The room froze. I'm pregnant." Gasps exploded throughout the church. Lena felt the blood drain from her face. Pregnant? What did that have to do with her wedding? Then Sophia turned toward Ryan, and everything changed. "Ryan, tell them." The church became so quiet that a pin could have been heard dropping. Lena slowly looked at Ryan. His face had gone pale. "No." The word escaped her lips before she could stop it. Ryan lowered his head, unable to meet her eyes. "Lena." Her heart began pounding. "No. Lena, I didn't want you to find out like this." The world around her seemed to stop. "What are you talking about?" Ryan took a deep breath, then spoke the words that shattered her life. "The baby is mine." The church erupted into chaos. Guests stood up. People whispered. Someone dropped a glass. Lena couldn't hear any of it. She could only stare at Ryan, waiting for him to laugh, waiting for him to say it was a joke, waiting for him to tell her none of this was real, but he didn't. Instead, he walked away from her, away from the altar, away from their future, and stood beside Sophia. The sight felt like a knife through her heart. "No." Tears filled Lena's eyes. "You can't be serious." Ryan closed his eyes. "I'm sorry." Sophia grabbed his hand, and Ryan didn't pull away. That hurt more than anything. Lena looked desperately toward her family, toward her mother, toward her father. Surely someone would defend her. Surely someone would tell Sophia to stop. Instead, her mother rushed toward Sophia. "Oh my God. You're pregnant?" Sophia nodded through fake tears. Her mother immediately hugged her. "We'll take care of you." Lena stared in disbelief. "What about me?" Nobody answered. Her father looked away, unable to face her. The guests watched in uncomfortable silence. Humiliation burned through her chest. This was supposed to be her wedding day. Her wedding day, and everyone had chosen Sophia, just like they always did. Ryan finally looked at her. His voice was barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, Lena." Then he said the words she would never forget. "But I choose her." Silence, absolute silence. Lena felt something break inside her. 8 years, gone in a single sentence. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But she refused to beg, refused to cry in front of them. Slowly, she removed her engagement ring, looked at it one last time, then placed it in Ryan's hand. "If that's your choice," her voice shook, "then I hope you're happy." Ryan's eyes widened. For a moment, he looked guilty. But he didn't stop her. He didn't run after her. He simply stood beside Sophia, exactly where he wanted to be. Lena turned around and walked away. The guests moved aside. Nobody stopped her. Nobody called her name. Nobody chose her. Until, as she reached the church doors, a deep voice spoke. "Miss Morgan." Lena stopped. Confused, she turned around. A man stood from the last row. Tall, well-dressed, calm. His dark eyes met hers. Unlike everyone else, he wasn't looking at her with pity. He was looking at her with respect. "One day," he said quietly, "they'll regret what they did today." Lena didn't know his name. She didn't know who he was. But for the first time that day, someone stood on her side. And as she walked out of the church with tears in her eyes, she had no idea that meeting this stranger would change her life forever. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Losing Everything. Lena sat alone in her apartment. The wedding dress still hung from her shoulders. The makeup on her face was ruined by tears. The silence felt unbearable. Just hours ago, she was supposed to become Ryan Carter's wife. Now she was nothing. Her phone suddenly rang. "Mom." Lena immediately answered. "Mom." Before she could finish, her mother's cold voice interrupted her. "Come home now." For a moment, hope filled Lena's chest. Maybe her parents had finally realized what happened. Maybe they wanted to comfort her. Maybe they were on her side. 30 minutes later, Lena arrived at her parents' house. The moment she stepped inside, she knew she had been wrong. Very wrong. Sophia sat on the couch. Ryan sat beside her, holding her hand, just like he had at the church. Lena's heart ached. Her father stood by the window. Her mother folded her arms. Nobody looked happy to see her. Lena. Her mother spoke first. "You need to apologize." Lena blinked. "What?" "Apologize to your sister." The room spun. "Apologize?" Her mother nodded. "You embarrassed her today?" Lena laughed. A broken laugh. "I embarrassed her?" Sophia lowered her head and pretended to cry. "Mom, it's okay." "No, it isn't," her mother snapped. "Your sister has suffered enough." Lena couldn't believe what she was hearing. Suffered? I was the one abandoned at the altar. Ryan finally spoke. "Lena, don't." Her voice was sharp. Ryan fell silent. For the first time all day, she saw guilt in his eyes, but guilt changed nothing. Her father sighed. "The situation is unfortunate." Unfortunate? 8 years destroyed. Her wedding ruined. Her life shattered. And that was all he had to say? Then Sophia stood. Her hand rested on her stomach. "I'm sorry, Lena." The fake sympathy in her voice made Lena sick. "I never wanted this to happen." Lena stared at her, then asked the question nobody else dared ask. "When did it start?" Silence. Ryan looked away. Sophia froze. Lena laughed bitterly. "That's what I thought." Her mother suddenly slammed her hand on the table. "Enough. You need to move on." Lena stared. Then her mother delivered the final blow. "We think it's best if you leave." The room became silent. "What?" "This house belongs to family." Her mother pointed toward Sophia. "She needs support right now." Lena felt something inside her finally break. Not Ryan, not Sophia. Her family, the people who should have protected her, had chosen a side, and it wasn't hers. Slowly, Lena nodded. "I understand." Nobody stopped her. Nobody apologized. Nobody told her to stay. She walked upstairs, packed a single suitcase, and left forever. Rain poured from the sky. Lena sat alone on a bus stop bench, the wedding dress hidden beneath a coat, her suitcase beside her. No home, no fiancé, no family, nothing. Her suitcase beside her. No home, no fiancé, no family, nothing. A black luxury car suddenly stopped nearby. The window lowered. A familiar face appeared. The man from the church, the stranger who had spoken to her. His calm eyes met hers. "Ethan Blake." Lena frowned. "What?" "My name." For the first time, he smiled. Very slightly. "I thought introductions were overdue." Lena stared. The name sounded familiar. Very familiar. Then realization hit. Ethan Blake, the billionaire CEO, one of the youngest business tycoons in the country. "What do you want?" Ethan looked at the rain, then back at her. "A job." Lena blinked. "A what?" "A job." He handed her a business card. "My company needs someone." Lena looked down at the card, then laughed. Not because it was funny, because life had become absurd. A billionaire was offering her a job on the worst day of her life. Why? Ethan's expression softened. Because everyone deserves one person who believes in them. For a moment, Lena couldn't speak. Nobody had said that to her in years. Finally, she accepted the card. And neither of them noticed. Across the street, inside a parked car, Sophia was watching. Her eyes burned with jealousy. Because for the first time in her life, Lena had something Sophia couldn't steal. Chapter 3. The New Beginning. The next morning, Lena stood in front of a towering glass building. Blake Global Holdings, one of the largest companies in the country. Her hands tightened around Ethan's business card. She still couldn't believe she was here. Yesterday she had lost everything. Today she was about to start over. Taking a deep breath, she walked inside. The lobby was enormous. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers. Employees rushed past carrying documents and tablets. Everything felt intimidating. Lena suddenly felt out of place. Maybe coming here was a mistake. Miss Morgan? A woman in a black suit approached her. Mr. Blake is expecting you. Lena blinked. Expecting her? The woman smiled politely. This way. A few minutes later, the elevator doors opened. The entire top floor belonged to Ethan. The view overlooked the entire city. Lena had never seen anything like it. Inside the office, Ethan sat behind a large desk. Calm, focused, powerful. He looked up as she entered. Good morning. Lena nodded nervously. Good morning. Ethan stood. Have breakfast? Lena froze. Breakfast? Wasn't this supposed to be a job interview? Seeing her confusion, Ethan smiled slightly. You look like you haven't eaten. Unfortunately, he was right. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. A few minutes later, Lena sat across from him with a warm meal. For the first time since the wedding, she felt human again. Thank you. Ethan simply nodded, as if helping her was the most natural thing in the world. After breakfast, Ethan handed her a folder. Assistant project manager. Lena stared. What? The position. She looked at him. You're hiring me? Ethan raised an eyebrow. Weren't you here for the job? For the first time in days, Lena laughed. A real laugh. The following weeks passed quickly. Lena worked harder than anyone. She learned. She improved. She stayed late. She never complained. Soon, people in the company began noticing her talent, including Ethan. One evening, after a successful presentation, the entire conference room applauded. Lena stood frozen. Nobody had applauded her before. Nobody had believed in her before. Ethan was the first person to stand. Excellent work. The room followed. Lena's eyes watered. Not from sadness, from pride. Meanwhile, across town, Ryan Carter sat alone in his office. His phone screen showed a news article. Blake Global's rising star, Lena Morgan leads major project success. Ryan stared at the picture. Lena looked different. Stronger, happier, more confident. A strange feeling settled in his chest. Regret? He remembered the girl who had loved him for 8 years. The girl he abandoned. The girl who had never stopped believing in him. For the first time, Ryan wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. At the same time, Sophia was scrolling through social media. She saw the same article, and immediately smashed her glass against the wall. Crash! No. Her face twisted with anger. No, no, no! Lena was supposed to be miserable. She was supposed to be crying, begging, alone. Instead, she was thriving and standing beside Ethan Blake, a man far more successful than Ryan. Sophia's jealousy burned hotter than ever. Back at Blake Global, the office was empty. Most employees had already gone home. Lena stood by the window overlooking the city lights. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. Maybe losing Ryan wasn't the end. Maybe it was the beginning. Behind her, Ethan quietly watched, a small smile appearing on his face, because he had been right. One day, everyone who hurt Lena would regret it. Chapter 4. The Hidden Truth. 3 months passed. Lena's life had completely changed. She was no longer the woman abandoned at the altar. At Blake Global, she had become one of Ethan's most trusted employees. People respected her. Clients admired her. For the first time in her life, she was building something for herself. Meanwhile, Sophia was miserable. Everywhere she looked, she saw Lena. News articles, business magazines, social media posts. Blake Global's rising star, Lena Morgan's latest success. Ethan Blake and his top project manager. Each headline felt like a slap. One evening, Sophia stormed into Ryan's office. You need to stop her. Ryan frowned. Stop who? Lena? Ryan sighed. Again? Sophia's face twisted. You still care about her, don't you? Ryan remained silent. That silence was answer enough. For weeks, Ryan had been watching Lena from afar. She looked happier, stronger, more beautiful than ever, and every day he regretted losing her. Back at Blake Global, Lena and Ethan had just finished a meeting. The office was empty. Night lights glittered outside. "You did well today." Ethan handed her a cup of coffee. Lena smiled. "Thanks." For a moment, neither spoke. The silence felt comfortable, natural. Then Ethan suddenly asked, "Do you miss him?" Lena knew exactly who he meant. Ryan. She looked out the window and thought carefully. "I miss who I thought he was." Ethan's eyes softened. "But not who he really is." Lena smiled sadly. For the first time, she realized she was finally letting go. The next morning, everything changed. An anonymous package arrived at Blake Global, addressed to Lena. Inside was a small flash drive. No note, no sender, nothing. Curious, Lena plugged it into her computer. A video appeared. The date caught her attention immediately. It was recorded 2 weeks before the wedding. Lena's hands trembled. The video showed Sophia sitting inside a clinic, laughing, smiling, perfectly healthy. Then a doctor's voice spoke. "Congratulations, Miss Morgan." Sophia grinned. "The fake pregnancy documents are ready." Lena froze. Her heart stopped. No. The video continued. Sophia laughed. "Once Ryan believes I'm pregnant, he'll never leave me." Lena's entire world tilted. It had all been fake. The pregnancy, the tears, the betrayal, everything. Her hands shook violently. At that moment, Ethan entered her office. One look at her face told him something was wrong. "Lena?" Without speaking, she handed him the flash drive. Minutes later, Ethan finished watching. His expression darkened. This is enough to destroy her. Lena stared at the screen. The sister she had loved. The sister she had protected her entire life. Had planned everything. Tears filled her eyes. Not because she missed Sophia, but because she finally understood the truth. Sophia had never wanted Ryan. She wanted to win. And Lena had always been the target. Ethan gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "What do you want to do?" Lena wiped away her tears. Slowly, a new expression appeared on her face. Not sadness, not heartbreak, determination. For months, Sophia had enjoyed her victory. Now it was Lena's turn, and this time, she would expose everything. Chapter 5. Public Exposure. The grand ballroom sparkled with crystal lights. Hundreds of guests filled the hall. Cameras flashed nonstop. Tonight was Sophia and Ryan's official engagement party. Sophia stood proudly in a glittering silver dress. A smile never left her face. After months of attention and sympathy, she finally had everything she wanted. Ryan, the spotlight, the victory, or so she thought. Ryan stood beside her. But something was different. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't happy. His eyes kept drifting toward the entrance, as if waiting for someone. Sophia noticed immediately. "Stop thinking about her." Ryan frowned. "What?" "Lena." Ryan looked away, which was answer enough. Sophia's nails dug into her palms. Even now, even after everything, he still couldn't forget Lena. The host stepped onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate the happy couple." Applause erupted. Cameras flashed. Sophia waved proudly. Then suddenly, the ballroom doors opened. Everyone turned. Silence fell. Lena Morgan walked inside. Gasps spread across the room. She looked completely different, elegant, confident, beautiful. And beside her stood Ethan Blake. The Ethan Blake, the billionaire CEO. Whispers immediately spread through the crowd. "That's Ethan Blake. Why is he here?" "He's with Lena?" Sophia's face turned pale. Ryan froze, unable to look away. For a moment, he remembered the woman he had abandoned at the altar. And his heart sank. Lena calmly walked toward the stage. Sophia forced a smile. "What are you doing here?" Lena smiled back. "I came to congratulate you." Sophia relaxed. Maybe Lena had finally accepted defeat. Then Ethan spoke. Before that, the giant screen behind the stage suddenly turned on. The ballroom became silent. A video appeared. Sophia's smile disappeared instantly. No. The recording began playing. The clinic. The doctor. The fake pregnancy documents. Then Sophia's own voice echoed throughout the ballroom. "Once Ryan believes I'm pregnant, he'll never leave me." The entire room froze. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Ryan's face turned white. The guests stared at Sophia in shock. Sophia stumbled backward. "No, that's fake." But the video continued. Every lie, every plan, every betrayal, displayed for everyone to see. Sophia began shaking. The room exploded into whispers. She lied. The pregnancy was fake. She ruined her own sister's wedding. Ryan looked at Sophia. His eyes filled with disbelief. "You lied to me?" Sophia grabbed his arm. "Ryan, listen to me! Was any of it real?" She couldn't answer, and that silence told him everything. Ryan stepped away, the same way he had stepped away from Lena months ago. Sophia's world collapsed. For the first time in her life, nobody was on her side. Her mother looked horrified. Her father lowered his head in shame. Even the guests turned away from her. Sophia finally understood. This was what Lena had felt at the wedding. Humiliation. Public humiliation. Lena calmly stepped forward. For months she had dreamed of revenge. But now, looking at Sophia, she felt nothing. No hatred, no anger, only freedom. Ethan quietly moved beside her. "You okay?" Lena smiled. For the first time in a very long time. Yes. And she meant it. Because tonight wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. And the truth had finally won. Chapter 6. The Choice. The ballroom was silent. Only moments ago, Sophia had been the center of attention. Now she stood surrounded by whispers, judgment, and shame. Everything she had built on lies was falling apart. Ryan stared at her as if he were looking at a stranger. 8 months. 8 months he had destroyed his life for her. And it had all been a lie. Sophia reached for him. "Ryan, please." He stepped back, the same way he had stepped away from Lena at the altar. This time, Sophia was the one left behind. "You lied to me." Ryan's voice was cold. "You lied about everything." Tears streamed down Sophia's face. "I loved you." Ryan laughed bitterly. "No. You wanted to win." The words hit her like a slap. Because they were true. Across the room, Lena watched quietly. Months ago, she had dreamed of this moment. She had imagined Sophia begging, crying, losing everything. But now that it was happening, she felt nothing. No satisfaction. No happiness. No revenge. Only peace. Ryan slowly turned toward Lena. His eyes filled with regret. "Lena?" The room fell silent. Everyone watched. Ryan walked toward her. "I made the biggest mistake of my life." Sophia froze. Ryan's voice shook. "I should have trusted you. I should have chosen you." Lena looked at him calmly. The old Lena would have cried. The old Lena would have hoped. The old Lena would have forgiven him. But that woman no longer existed. "You didn't lose me that day." Ryan's eyes widened. "You gave me away." Silence. For the first time, Ryan truly understood. He hadn't just lost a fiancé. He had lost the best thing in his life. Forever. Tears filled his eyes. "Can you ever forgive me?" Lena smiled sadly. "I already have." Hope flashed across Ryan's face. Then she continued, "But forgiveness doesn't mean I want you back." The hope disappeared. Ryan lowered his head. Broken. Defeated. For the first time in his life, he had no argument. No excuse. No second chance. Beside Lena, Ethan quietly watched. He had never pressured her. Never manipulated her. Never demanded anything. He simply stood beside her whenever she needed him. Just as he always had. Lena turned toward him. Their eyes met. And suddenly, everything felt easy. Safe. Real. Ethan smiled. "Aren't you tired of saving yourself?" Lena laughed softly. "Maybe a little." The room watched in silence. Then Ethan extended his hand. Not as a billionaire, not as a CEO, but as a man who genuinely cared about her. Lena looked at his hand, then at Ryan, then at Sophia. The past stood behind her. Her future stood in front of her. Slowly, she took Ethan's hand. The crowd erupted into applause. Sophia collapsed into a chair. Ryan closed his eyes. And Lena finally smiled. A real smile. For the first time in years, she was free. Outside, the city lights glittered beneath the night sky. Lena and Ethan stepped out together, side by side. "What happens now?" Ethan asked. Lena looked ahead, at the endless road waiting for them, and smiled. "Now?" She squeezed his hand. "Now we start our own story.